My beloved sisters and brothers, in life, you and I know that not everyone around us wishes well for us. Some people may smile in front of us, but hide envy in their hearts. Yet, when Allah protects you, no harm can truly reach you. Today, I want to remind you of 8 beautiful signs that a woman is shielded by Allah from the evil of people. The first sign is her strong connection with Allah. When her prayers are firm, when she turns to Allah in every matter, it is as though she walks under a divine shade that others cannot pierce. The second sign is inner peace during trials. People may speak, they may plot, but her heart remains calm. This calmness itself is a protection, a mercy from Allah. The third is her clarity of heart. She does not entertain hatred or jealousy. When your heart is clean, it becomes heavy for evil to find a place around you. The fourth sign is guided intuition. Allah grants her a sense to recognize who is genuine and who is harmful. She may not always know the details, but her heart warns her, and she listens. The fifth is respect from others. Even those who dislike her cannot openly disgrace her, because Allah places a veil of dignity upon her. The sixth sign is that doors of goodness open. She finds herself surrounded by the right opportunities, by righteous companionship, by moments of growth. This is no coincidence, it is protection. The seventh sign is patience with dignity. She does not lose herself when tested. She does not stoop to the level of those who wrong her. Her patience becomes her fortress. And finally, the eighth sign is that evil turns back against itself. Those who plot, those who scheme, eventually their own harm rebounds upon them, while she is lifted even higher. My dear sisters, if you see these signs in your life, thank Allah. If you aspire towards them, strive to build your connection with Him. Because when Allah is with you, the whispers of people cannot break you, and the plans of the wicked cannot reach you. Remember, the true protection is not in walls, not in locks, but in the care of the Almighty. When a woman builds a strong connection with Allah, she enters into a state of protection that no human power can undo. The first sign that she is protected by Allah from evil people is her attachment to her Creator, the Most Merciful. This connection is not simply the performance of rituals, but the living, breathing, heartfelt bond between her and the one who fashioned her soul. It is the constant remembrance that Allah is with her wherever she may be, watching over her, guiding her, and protecting her in ways that she cannot even comprehend. Think about it. When a person establishes her prayers with sincerity, it becomes a shield for her. Each time she raises her hands in supplication, she is not merely asking for something material, but she is handing over her worries, her fears, and her vulnerabilities to the Lord of the worlds. She says, "O Allah, protect me," and that prayer is heard by the one whose knowledge encompasses every secret plot, every whisper, every glance filled with envy. When she bows her head in humility, she is in fact being raised by Allah above the schemes of people who wish to harm her. Her sujud, her prostration, is her fortress. This strong connection with Allah also means that she knows who truly controls her destiny. When others try to intimidate her, when they try to harm her with their words or actions, her heart whispers, they can do nothing unless Allah allows it. Such faith transforms her perspective completely. Instead of fearing people, she places her trust in Allah, and that very trust becomes a wall that evil cannot penetrate. This is why the Prophet Muhammad taught us that if the entire world were to gather to harm a servant of Allah, they would not be able to harm her except with what Allah had already written. When a woman internalizes this truth, she lives with courage and serenity. A woman with a strong bond with Allah constantly seeks His guidance in her decisions. When she is uncertain about a friendship, a relationship, or a path she wants to take, she turns to Him in prayer, she seeks istiqra, and she waits with patience. Allah, in His wisdom, then diverts her from people who would harm her, sometimes by removing them from her life, sometimes by closing a door that she thought was good, but which was in reality full of danger. She may not always understand it in the moment, but her trust allows her to accept that Allah is protecting her from something unseen. That connection also refines her character. She learns to forgive when it is difficult, to remain patient when it is tempting to retaliate, and to respond with dignity when others stoop low. By holding on to Allah, she rises above the petty games of people who are driven by envy or hatred. Evil people often thrive on reaction. They want to see her break, to see her crumble, to see her respond with anger or fear. But because her heart is anchored with Allah, she gives them nothing to feed on. Instead, her composure becomes a shield that frustrates them and eventually weakens their schemes. The strong connection with Allah also gives her a light of discernment. In the Quran, Allah tells us that when a person is conscious of Him, He grants them a certain criterion to distinguish between truth and falsehood. For a woman, this means she is able to sense when someone is not sincere, when someone has hidden intentions, when someone's words do not match their actions. This awareness is not merely intuition, it is a gift from Allah to a servant who turns to Him. It allows her to walk away before harm reaches her, to decline offers that look attractive on the surface but hide thorns underneath, to say no when others expect her to say yes. Such a connection also means she is never truly alone. Even in moments when people abandon her, when so-called friends turn into enemies, when family members misunderstand her, her heart is comforted by the remembrance that Allah is with her. This presence of Allah in her life is not something theoretical. It manifests as a calmness in her chest when she feels pressure from outside. It shows up as unexpected help when she is cornered. It appears in the form of supportive people being sent into her life at the right time, or in the way a harmful situation simply collapses without her effort. And the most powerful aspect of this connection is that it draws the protection of Allah Himself. The one who remembers Allah consistently is remembered by Him. The one who seeks refuge in Allah is granted that refuge. The woman who raises her hands in doubt asking for protection from envy, from jealousy, from slander, from harm, she is surrounded by angels who guard her by the permission of Allah. The Quran reminds us that every person has angels before them and behind them, protecting them by Allah's command. For the woman who maintains her bond with Allah, these unseen guardians are a reality. So, my dear sister, if you want to be protected from evil people, begin with your connection to Allah. Guard your prayers, guard your remembrance, guard your relationship with the Quran. Speak to Allah about your fears, your hopes, your struggles. Trust that He hears you and that He knows what you do not know. A strong connection with Him is the first and greatest sign that you are under His divine protection. When Allah is with you, who can be against you? When Allah shields you, whose arrows can never reach you? This is the power of the bond between a servant and her Lord. It is the shield that makes her untouchable in the face of human malice. When a woman is protected by Allah, one of the most beautiful signs is the tranquility of her heart in the midst of trials. People may try to disturb her peace, they may spread rumors, they may speak harshly, they may even conspire against her, but she does not allow herself to drown in their negativity. Instead, she carries within her a calmness that cannot be shaken by external storms. This calmness is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is the deep-rooted serenity that comes from knowing that nothing happens without the will of Allah, and that every test carries wisdom and reward. Imagine a woman who is surrounded by criticism. Perhaps her family does not understand her choices, perhaps her colleagues gossip behind her back, perhaps someone envies her and tries to tarnish her reputation. For many people, this would be enough to cause anxiety, anger, or depression. But when Allah protects a woman, He grants her a heart that remains steady. She does not waste her nights worrying about the whispers of people. She does not lose her dignity by responding to every insult. She sleeps with peace because she knows that Allah is the best of protectors and the most just of judges. This inner peace is a treasure that cannot be bought with wealth or status. It is a gift from Allah to those who put their trust in Him. A woman who constantly remembers Allah finds that her heart does not collapse under pressure. Even when she cries in her private moments, her tears are not of despair, but of surrender. She hands her pain over to her Lord and says, "O Allah, you see what I cannot express, you know what is hidden, and I trust you to handle what I cannot control." With that prayer, a weight is lifted from her chest, and she continues her day with dignity and composure. When evil people realize that their efforts to disturb her peace are unsuccessful, they themselves become restless. They expect to see her panic, to see her lash out, to see her crumble, but instead, they find her smiling, carrying herself with grace, and moving forward with her life. This is how Allah humiliates the schemes of those who wish harm, by showing them that their actions have no power over the believer's inner state. The calmness of the heart becomes a shield. The Quran describes this beautifully when Allah says, "Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." This rest is what keeps her from collapsing under the weight of difficulties. Trials may continue, challenges may grow, but she feels an invisible hand holding her steady. She might not be able to change what people say or do, but she knows she can control her response, and her response is rooted in trust in Allah. When others raise their voices against her, she lowers hers. When they try to provoke her, she responds with patience. When they attempt to make her feel small, she remembers that honor belongs only to Allah and those whom He grants it to. This composure does not mean she is blind to what is happening around her. It means she chooses not to be imprisoned by it. She frees herself from the control of other people's words and actions by anchoring her heart to Allah alone. There are moments in every life where people attempt to break you. They may attack your reputation, They may exclude you from gatherings. They may invent lies. But the woman whom Allah protects remains standing. She has no need to prove herself to those who are blinded by jealousy or hatred. She knows her worth in the sight of Allah, and that knowledge gives her peace that no insult can erase. Sometimes the calm is manifest in ways others cannot understand. While they expect her to respond with anger, she chooses silence. While they expect her to retreat in fear, she carries on with her duties and responsibilities. While they wait for her to seek revenge, she continues with her life, knowing that Allah's justice is more complete than anything she could achieve on her own. Her peace is her protest. Her serenity is her strength. This state of tranquility is also a form of healing. Many people, when harmed by others, carry bitterness for years. They allow resentment to poison their hearts. But the woman protected by Allah does not allow herself to be consumed by hatred. She understands that holding on to anger only prolongs the wound. Instead, she places her trust in Allah's justice, forgives when she can, and distances herself from those who harm her. In this way, her heart remains light, and her peace remains unshaken. What makes this calmness so powerful is that it is not natural to the ego. Human beings are quick to anger, quick to defend themselves, quick to retaliate. But when a woman rises above these instincts, it is a sign that Allah is guarding her. The protection is not only physical, it is spiritual. It is as though Allah places a veil over her heart so that the arrows of people do not pierce it. She may feel the sting of their actions, but she does not bleed from them. She remains intact because Allah has fortified her from within. This gift of inner peace is also contagious. Those around her notice it. Her children feel secure in her presence. Her friends find comfort in her company. Even strangers sense that she carries a light that is not easily extinguished. And this itself becomes a form of dua, a way of inviting others to recognize the strength that comes from relying upon Allah. So, when you see a woman who walks through difficulties with calmness, who faces hostility with dignity, who responds to harm with patience, know that she is under the special protection of Allah. Her serenity is not ignorance, nor is it weakness. It is a divine shield that evil people cannot penetrate. While they burn with hatred, she remains cool with faith. While they plot, she continues to rise. And that, in itself, is one of the clearest signs that Allah is guarding her from the schemes of those who wish her harm. A woman who is protected by Allah from evil people is often distinguished by the purity of her heart. Her heart is not weighed down by jealousy, hatred, or grudges. Instead, it remains clear, soft, and sincere. This clarity is a shield, for when the heart is pure, it does not attract the filth of others. The evil intentions of people slide off a clean heart the way dirt cannot stick to flowing water. A woman with such a heart is constantly surrounded by Allah's mercy, and He does not allow the darkness of others to take root in her soul. When a woman nurtures a heart free of envy, she frees herself from the constant comparison that destroys so many lives. She is not bothered when someone else receives blessings, because she knows that the treasures of Allah are limitless. She does not see the success of another as a threat to her own. This mindset makes her untouchable by the schemes of those who envy her, because she does not engage in their games. She wishes well for others, and in return Allah wishes well for her. The Prophet reminded us that whoever wishes for their brother or sister what they wish for themselves has perfected their faith. This perfection of faith is itself a shield, keeping the heart clean and the soul safe. A heart free from grudges is also a heart that heals quickly. When someone wrongs her, she feels the pain, but she does not allow it to harden her spirit. She forgives when possible, not because she is weak, but because she understands that forgiveness lightens her own soul. By letting go of grudges, she refuses to let evil people occupy space in her heart. She refuses to give them control over her emotions. She leaves their matter to Allah, the just judge, and moves forward with her life. In doing so, she preserves her inner peace and denies her enemies the satisfaction of seeing her broken. Hatred is another disease of the heart, one that consumes the person who carries it. But a woman who is protected by Allah guards her heart against hatred. She may dislike the wrong that people do, but she does not allow her heart to drown in bitterness. This protects her from becoming like those who harm her. She understands that carrying hatred only chains her to the very people she wants to escape. By refusing to carry it, she walks lightly unburdened, free to focus on her relationship with Allah. This freedom itself is a protection, because she is too busy nurturing her soul to be dragged into the pits of malice. The clarity of her heart also reflects in her dealings with others. People sense her sincerity. They know she does not smile in their face while hiding poison in her words. They trust her because she is genuine, and this trust earns her allies who stand by her when others attempt to harm her. A pure heart attracts good company, just as a full heart attracts corruption. Allah surrounds her with people who love her for His sake, and this circle becomes another layer of protection against evil people. Such purity also makes her done more powerful. The Prophet said that there are people whose supplications are not rejected because their hearts are pure and their intentions are sincere. When a woman prays with a clean heart, her voice is heard by the Lord of the worlds. If someone tries to harm her, she does not seek revenge with her tongue or her hands. Instead, she raises her hands and calls upon Allah. And the purity of her heart gives weight to her prayer, making it a weapon that no evil can withstand. One of the most striking things about a pure heart is the light it radiates. The Quran tells us that on the day of judgment, only those who come with a calm, a sound heart will truly succeed. That same sound heart shines even in this world. When people look at her, they feel comfort. When they listen to her, they sense honesty. Even her silence carries peace. This light is not visible to the eye, but it is felt by the soul. And those who carry malice or envy often find themselves uncomfortable in her presence. They cannot harm her easily, because the light of a pure heart exposes their darkness. Of course, keeping the heart pure is not always easy. Life brings wounds. People betray, insult, or disappoint. But the woman whom Allah protects has learned to cleanse her heart regularly through remembrance, prayer, and self-reflection. Just as one washes her body to remove dirt, she washes her heart with forgiveness, gratitude, and dhikr to remove stains. She recognizes when anger begins to take root, and she asks Allah to remove it before it grows. This constant cleansing ensures that her heart remains a place of light, not a battlefield of grudges. In reality, the evil people who try to harm her often fail not because they lack power, but because she refuses to become like them. Her heart does not mirror their jealousy, her tongue does not echo their insults, and her actions do not replicate their malice. She is elevated above them, not by her status in society, but by the cleanliness of her soul. And because of that, Allah shields her. The arrows shot by envious people do not reach her, for they cannot pierce a heart protected by sincerity. So, when you see a woman who carries no hatred despite being wrong, who wishes well for others despite being envied, who forgives despite having the power to retaliate, know that she is under divine protection. Her clarity of heart is not only a blessing for her in this life, but also a preparation for the next. She lives with light, and she will meet Allah with light. And no matter how much evil people try, they cannot dim a heart that Allah Himself has kept pure. One of the remarkable signs that a woman is under Allah's protection is her ability to sense harmful people and distance herself from them. This guided intuition is not merely a human instinct, it is a divine gift, a form of spiritual insight that comes when her heart is connected to Allah and her life is guided by taqwa. Many people walk through life blind to the intentions of others, falling easily into traps laid out for them. But the woman whom Allah protects finds herself warned by subtle feelings, sudden thoughts, or even circumstances that steer her away from harm. She may not always understand it at the moment, but later she realizes that what seemed like a small decision was in fact Allah saving her from something much greater. This type of intuition is rooted in the promise of Allah. In the Quran, He tells us that whoever is conscious of Him, He grants them a way out and provides from sources they never imagined. Part of that way out is the ability to recognize danger before it strikes. A woman with guided intuition often finds herself stepping away from a relationship that feels wrong, declining an offer that seems attractive on the surface, or avoiding gatherings where evil would have reached her. People may not understand why she chose that path, but in her heart she knows she was responding to a warning placed there by Allah. It is not about suspicion of everyone. Rather, it is a quiet awareness, a clarity that Allah places in her. She can sense when someone's words do not match their actions, when a smile hides envy, or when an opportunity is too good to be true. She does not need long explanations or evidence that others demand. Her heart feels uneasy, and she trusts that uneasiness is guidance. This does not make her arrogant or paranoid. It makes her cautious and wise. Often, this guided intuition saves her from painful situations. Perhaps she's about to enter into a business deal, but her heart feels unsettled. She prays istiqra, and the unease grows stronger, so she steps away. Later, she discovers that those involved were dishonest. Or perhaps she is considering a friendship, but something about the person does not sit well with her, though everyone else praises them. She chooses to keep a respectful distance, and later finds out that this very person was known for betrayal. This is how Allah protects her, not by removing trials from existence, but by guiding her steps away from them before they unfold. A woman with such intuition also learns to listen to her heart without dismissing it. She knows that her inner compass is sharpened by her connection to Allah. Every time she remembers Him, reads Quran, or prays sincerely, her soul becomes more sensitive to truth and falsehood. Her heart becomes like a polished mirror, reflecting reality more clearly. When others are deceived by appearances, she sees deeper. When others rush into decisions, she pauses and consults her Lord. This patience is a key to her protection. Guided intuition also teaches her the importance of boundaries. She knows that not everyone who enters her life deserves access to her innermost self. She is kind and respectful, but cautious. She does not reveal her secrets easily, she does not place her trust carelessly, and she does not allow people to manipulate her emotions. This wisdom is not learned overnight, it is nurtured through experience and through turning to Allah in every matter. As a result, when evil people try to gain influence over her, they find her shielded by layers of discernment. They may approach her with flattery, with false promises, or with pity, but her heart warns her before she is caught. This sense of guidance is especially powerful because it is often silent. Others may not notice it. They may think she is simply lucky or that she has good judgment. But she knows that it is not luck, it is the mercy of Allah. She remembers that the Prophet said, "Beware the intuition of the believer, for he sees with the light of Allah." That light illuminates her path, allowing her to walk safely in a world full of traps. At times, her intuition might isolate her, because she steps back from people that others admire. But eventually, the truth becomes clear, and those same people realize her wisdom. She is not concerned about proving herself right, her concern is to stay under the protection of Allah. By obeying her heart when it is unsettled, she preserves her dignity, her peace, and her safety. Guided intuition also helps her protect those around her. She may sense when her children are keeping harmful company, when her spouse is walking into a bad deal, or when her family is at risk of falling into disputes. By speaking up or gently guiding them, she extends the protection that Allah has granted her to those she loves. In this way, her gift benefits not only herself, but her entire household. This quality of discernment is not magical. It is the fruit of faith, the result of sincerity, and the reward of keeping one's heart pure. When a woman dedicates herself to pleasing Allah, He grants her this unseen support. When she seeks His help sincerely, He responds by making her heart sensitive to danger. And when she puts her trust in Him, He guides her steps in ways she cannot plan. The beauty of guided intuition is that it removes fear. A woman who knows that Allah is guiding her does not panic when faced with uncertainty. She knows that even if she cannot see everything, Allah sees it all. And if He plants unease in her heart, it is enough for her to pause, to reflect, and to wait. That simple act of trusting her guidance often saves her from years of regret. So when you see a woman who avoids the traps that others fall into, who steps back from harmful people before their true nature is exposed, who declines offers that later turn out to be destructive, know that she is being guided by Allah. Her intuition is not her own, it is a divine rope extended to her because of her faith. And as long as she continues to hold on to that rope, no evil person can truly harm her. One of the signs that a woman is under the special protection of Allah is that He places respect for her in the hearts of people. This respect is not the result of wealth, beauty, or social status. It is not the kind of attention that comes from worldly power or influence. It is a quiet dignity that Allah bestows upon her, a sense of honor that even those who dislike her cannot easily deny. People may envy her, they may oppose her, they may even wish to harm her, but when they stand in her presence, something holds them back. That something is the respect Allah plants in their hearts, even if they do not want to feel it. When a woman carries herself with sincerity, humility, and modesty, Allah elevates her. He raises her in ways that no human being can lower. The Quran tells us clearly, and honor belongs to Allah, His Messenger, and the believers. This means that when Allah honors a woman through her faith and her character, no enemy, no rival, and no critic can strip her of that dignity. They may speak behind her back, but in front of her, their tongues become restrained. They may try to plot against her, but they cannot erase the aura of respect that surrounds her. This respect does not mean she is free of hardship. Evil people may still attempt to harm her. They may spread rumors or attempt to isolate her. But even as they do so, there remains an unspoken acknowledgement of her dignity. They cannot mock her without others sensing that the mockery is undeserved. They cannot humiliate her without their own behavior looking ugly in comparison. Allah makes their efforts backfire, and instead of stripping away her respect, they only expose their own lack of it. A woman protected in this way often notices that even strangers treat her with courtesy. Doors open for her, hearts soften around her, people feel hesitant to cross her boundaries. She does not need to demand respect aggressively, it is simply granted to her. That is because true respect is not commanded by force, it is inspired by character. And when her character is built upon faith, kindness, patience, and sincerity, Allah Himself ensures that others recognize it. Consider how even enemies of the Prophet Muhammad admitted to his trustworthiness before they opposed his message. They could not deny the truth of his character. Similarly, a woman who walks in the path of faith carries a reputation that shields her. Even those who wish to harm her are forced to acknowledge, deep down, that she is not like others. They may not admit it openly, but their actions betray the respect they cannot conceal. This respect also serves as a barrier against harm. Someone may think twice before slandering her, because they know others will not believe it. They may hesitate before mistreating her, because they know people will notice. They may fear confronting her, because her calm strength unsettles them. Respect, in this sense, is not just an honor, it is a protection, a shield that Allah places around her. At times, this respect even extends to situations where she has no voice. Perhaps decisions are being made about her in her absence. Perhaps others are speaking about her when she cannot defend herself. Yet Allah causes someone in that gathering to speak up for her, to shield her reputation, to remind others of her dignity. This unseen advocacy is a sign that she is not alone, that Allah Himself ensures her name is guarded. What makes this respect even more powerful is that it is not limited to those who love her. Even those who envy her feel it. They may roll their eyes at her faith, they may dislike her choices, but they cannot bring themselves to treat her with open disrespect. Allah restrains them, just as He restrained Abu Jahl and others from harming the Prophet at certain times. Respect becomes a form of divine control over the hearts of people, ensuring that evil cannot fully reach her. This respect is also rooted in her own behavior. She does not belittle others, so she is not belittled. She does not cross the limits of decency, so she is not dishonored. She holds herself with dignity, and dignity returns to her. This is why modesty, humility, and sincerity are so powerful. They are not just virtues, they are shields. A woman who lowers her gaze, who guards her speech, who treats others kindly while respecting herself, becomes someone others instinctively admire. This admiration is not about worldly charm, it is about divine light. Sometimes, she may not even realize how much respect surrounds her. She may feel unnoticed or underappreciated, but Allah knows the truth. He may cause others to silently admire her patience, her honesty, or her faith. And while she may not hear it in their words, it manifests in the way they treat her, the way they hold back from harming her, and the way they remember her when she is not present. In a world where many people chase after respect through wealth, status, or popularity, the woman who earns it through Allah's protection is truly blessed. Her respect is not temporary. It does not fade when beauty fades, when age increases, or when status changes. It is a respect tied to her soul, and as long as her soul remains anchored in faith, that respect endures. Even after she leaves this world, people will continue to mention her with honor, and her legacy will outlast the attempts of those who tried to harm her. So, when you see a woman who is respected even by her enemies, who walks with dignity without arrogance, who receives honor without asking for it, know that she is under the care of Allah. This respect is not from her own doing, it is a sign that the Almighty has chosen to protect her. And when Allah protects someone in such a way, no person on earth can strip the dignity away. When Allah protects a woman from evil people, one of the signs she experiences is that doors of goodness open in her life, often in ways she did not expect. These doors are not always about wealth or worldly status, but about opportunities, relationships, and blessings that guide her towards safety, growth, and peace. While others may be busy chasing after approval, influence, or material gain, she finds that goodness comes to her naturally, not because she forced it, but because Allah willed it. This flow of goodness becomes a shield, for when Allah occupies her with beneficial paths, she is less exposed to harmful ones. There are times when a woman may find herself in difficulty, surrounded by people who wish her harm or who try to drag her into their negativity. Yet suddenly, an unexpected opportunity appears, perhaps a new friendship with someone righteous, a job that removes her from a toxic environment, or a chance to learn something that empowers her. These are not coincidences. They are signs that Allah is steering her away from danger and opening doors that lead her to safety. A woman under divine protection often finds that just when people think they have cornered her, Allah provides her with an exit and a better path. The Quran teaches us that whoever has taqwa, Allah will provide for them from where they cannot imagine. That provision is not only food or money, it is also guidance, opportunities, and beneficial connections. A woman who trusts Allah finds that she meets the right people at the right time, she receives the right advice when she needs it most, and she encounters blessings in places she never expected. This constant opening of doors is part of the protection of Allah. While others may be plotting against her, Allah is preparing her escape and her advancement. These doors of goodness often manifest in her relationships. Instead of being trapped with toxic individuals, she is guided toward friends who remind her of Allah, mentors who support her growth, and communities that uplift her. Even if she faces betrayal, Allah soon replaces harmful companions with sincere ones. This is protection, for many times the greatest harm comes not from strangers, but from those close to us. By removing such people from her life and replacing them with better company, Allah shields her heart and strengthens her soul. Sometimes the doors of goodness come in the form of knowledge. A woman may stumble upon a lecture, a verse, or a reminder that changes her perspective at exactly the right time. She may learn something that saves her from a trap or gives her the strength to walk away from a harmful situation. This knowledge is a gift, for guidance itself is the greatest form of protection. While others remain blind to the dangers of envy, gossip, or betrayal, she sees them clearly and avoids them. Allah opens her eyes, and that vision becomes her shield. The doors of goodness can also be opportunities for growth. Perhaps she is given the chance to study, to travel, to work in a new environment, or to serve in a beneficial cause. These opportunities not only enrich her life, but also pull her away from the reach of evil people. When Allah keeps her occupied with meaningful pursuits, she has less time and space for toxic influences. Goodness fills her life so that there is no room left for harm. One of the most beautiful aspects of the sign is that sometimes the very plots of evil people become the cause of goodness for her. They may try to push her out of a position, but Allah opens a better one. They may try to slander her, but Allah raises her reputation. They may try to isolate her, but Allah brings her new companions. What they intended for harm becomes a stepping stone toward greater blessings. This is how Allah humiliates the plans of the wicked while protecting His servant. The opening of doors also teaches her trust. She begins to realize that she does not need to chase after people's approval or run after opportunities with desperation. She learns that what is meant for her will come, and what is not meant for her will pass. This trust frees her from fear, because she knows that no one can close a door that Allah has opened, and no one can open a door that Allah has closed. Her reliance on Him makes her stronger, calmer, and more resilient in the face of other people's attempts to harm her. Goodness also appears in small daily mercies. She may find ease in tasks that once felt overwhelming, support from unexpected sources, or peace in her heart when others are restless. Even simple things like a comforting word, a moment of inspiration, or an answered prayer are signs of doors opening. These small blessings accumulate until they form a shield around her. She realizes that while evil people waste their energy trying to harm her, Allah is continuously surrounding her with kindness. Ultimately, when Allah opens doors of goodness for a woman, He is not only protecting her in this life, but also preparing her for the next. Every opportunity for righteous deeds, every chance to learn, every blessing she receives is a means of elevating her status in the hereafter. The protection she experiences is not temporary, it is eternal. By keeping her away from harm and guiding her toward good, Allah ensures that she arrives before Him with a record filled with light. So, when you see a woman whose life is filled with unexpected blessings, who always finds a way forward even when others try to block her, who is surrounded by good people and good opportunities while others are left chasing after them, know that she is under Allah's protection. The doors of goodness in her life are not accidents. They are signs that the Almighty is shielding her, guiding her, and lifting her higher, while those who wish her harm are left watching helplessly. One of the strongest signs that Allah is protecting a woman from evil people is her ability to face tests with patience while maintaining her dignity. Patience itself is a great virtue, but when it is combined with dignity, it becomes a shield that cannot be broken. Many people are patient, but they lose their composure, they complain loudly, they break down in front of everyone, or they let bitterness consume them. Others try to preserve their dignity, but they are impatient, responding with anger or haste. But the woman whom Allah protects balances the two. She endures her trials without lowering herself, and she remains calm without losing her honor. Patience with dignity is not silence in the face of injustice. It is not pretending that pain does not exist. It is the strength to carry herself with composure even when others are trying to pull her down. Evil people often try to provoke her, to make her react in a way that will expose her or embarrass her. They spread rumors, hoping she will lash out. They insult her, hoping she will stoop to their level. They create obstacles, hoping she will break. But when Allah is with her, she responds with patience. She does not waste her energy fighting with those who want to see her fall. She preserves her dignity by trusting Allah to handle them. This kind of patience requires immense faith. A woman must truly believe that Allah is aware of every injustice, every insult, every hidden plot. She must believe that His justice is far greater than anything she could achieve on her own. Because of this belief, she chooses not to compromise her character. She refuses to fight dirt with dirt. Instead, she cleanses her heart and says, "O Allah, you see what I am facing, and I leave it to you." This submission gives her strength. It turns what could have been humiliation into honor. When a woman maintains dignity during trials, people notice. Even her enemies are forced to respect her composure. They may whisper about her, but deep down they are unsettled by her strength. They cannot understand how she remains calm while enduring what would break others. This confusion is itself a protection, because it weakens their confidence. They realize that no matter what they do, they cannot rob her of her self-respect. And when they fail to break her spirit, they eventually exhaust themselves. Patience with dignity is also a form of silent resistance. Instead of wasting words trying to prove herself, she lets time and Allah's plan speak for her. Lies may spread, but eventually truth surfaces. Plots may unfold, but eventually they collapse. In the meantime, she carries herself with grace, refusing to let their behavior define her. This silence, this composure, often says more than 1,000 arguments. People begin to see that she is not the problem. Those who tried to harm her are. Allah exposes their ugliness while preserving her honor. The Quran reminds us that Allah is with the patient. For a woman, this means that every time she chooses patience over retaliation, she gains the companionship of Allah. That companionship is a shield stronger than any defense she could build. It means that even when people turn their backs on her, Allah stands with her. And when Allah stands with her, the plots of others lose their power. Her patience does not mean she accepts mistreatment forever. She seeks justice where she can, she defends herself when necessary, but she does so without desperation or rage. Her dignity guides her. She speaks truth without lowering her tone. She acts with firmness without losing her composure. She asserts her rights without turning bitter. This balance is rare, but it is exactly what makes her protected. Evil people expect either submission or rage. When they find neither, they are defeated. Patience with dignity also protects her heart. Many people, when hurt, allow anger to consume them. They replay the betrayal in their minds, they carry grudges, they let their hearts harden. But the woman under Allah's protection refuses to give her enemies that power. She chooses to rise above, to heal, to move forward. She tells herself that every test is temporary, but her response will echo in eternity. This perspective allows her to carry herself with grace even in the heaviest moments. One of the most beautiful aspects of this quality is that it inspires others. When family, friends, or even strangers witness her dignity under pressure, they admire her. Some are motivated to strengthen their own patience. Others learn that true strength is not in shouting the loudest or retaliating the quickest, but in enduring with calmness. In this way, her patience becomes a form of silent teaching, a reminder that those who trust Allah never truly lose. It is also important to remember that patience with dignity does not mean she never feels pain. She may cry in private, she may pray with tears, she may feel moments of weakness. But even in those moments, she never abandons her composure in front of those who wish her harm. Her tears are for Allah, not for her enemies. Her complaints are whispered in doubt, not broadcast in public. This is what preserves her honor. She knows where to take her pain. So, when you see a woman who is tested but not broken, who is provoked but not humiliated, who is attacked but not dragged down, know that she is under the protection of Allah. Her patience is not ordinary, it is dignified, it is noble, it is elevated. She does not let others dictate her behavior. She lets her faith guide her. And that faith becomes her shield, ensuring that no evil person can strip her of the honor Allah has placed upon her. One of the most profound signs that Allah is protecting a woman from evil people is when the harm they plan for her turns back upon themselves. This is a reality described in the Quran and seen throughout history. Those who scheme against the righteous often become victims of their own schemes. A woman under Allah's care does not need to fight every battle or respond to every attack. She simply places her trust in her Lord, and over time, she witnesses how the plots of others collapse and even destroy those who created them. What was intended to break her instead becomes a means of her elevation, while those who wished her harm are humiliated by their own actions. Evil people often operate with arrogance. They believe that their lies, manipulations, and tricks will succeed. They might spread rumors, set traps, or try to isolate her from others. To them, it seems clever and well planned. But they forget that Allah is the best of planners. He sees every whisper and every plot, and He is fully capable of turning their efforts into a downfall. The Quran tells us clearly that those who dig a pit for others will eventually fall into it themselves. A woman who holds on to her faith and keeps her heart pure finds that she does not need to take revenge, because Allah takes it on her behalf in the most perfect way. Sometimes the evil turns back immediately. A person who spreads slander about her is exposed for lying. Someone who tries to harm her reputation ends up damaging their own. Another who tries to exclude her from an opportunity finds themselves removed instead. These quick turnarounds are signs from Allah, reminders that no plot can overpower His will. Other times, the turnaround takes longer. She may endure harm for a while, but in the end, she sees those same people falling into the very traps they set. Their own jealousy eats away at them. Their dishonesty destroys their credibility. Their arrogance blinds them until they are left with nothing. Meanwhile, she rises quietly, her dignity intact. This protection is not only about justice in this world, but also about preserving her energy and peace. A woman who knows that evil will eventually turn back on itself does not waste her life chasing after revenge. She does not need to prove herself to everyone or answer every accusation. She walks forward with faith, knowing that time reveals the truth. She remembers the promise of Allah. Do not think Allah is unaware of what the wrongdoers do. He only delays them until a day when eyes will stare in horror. This belief gives her patience and reassurance. While others burn themselves out with hatred, she carries on with calmness, knowing that Allah's justice never fails. The turning of evil upon itself can be seen in many ways. Sometimes it is through exposure. Those who plot are unmasked, their lies revealed, and their shame made public. Other times it is through consequence. The very envy that drove them to harm her becomes a fire that consumes their happiness. When their cruelty pushes away the very people they wanted to impress, what they thought would build their status ends up destroying it. In every case, their own actions become the weapon of their downfall. For the woman protected by Allah, this becomes a source of strength. She learns not to fear people, because she knows their power is limited. She trusts that no one can truly harm her unless Allah allows it, and if harm is written, it will only bring her closer to Him. Meanwhile, those who intend evil are digging their own graves. This understanding frees her from anxiety and bitterness. She leaves their matter in Allah's hands, focusing instead on her own growth, worship, and peace of mind. It is important to understand that this protection is not about wishing harm on others. The woman under Allah's care does not walk around waiting gleefully for her enemies to suffer. Rather, she simply does not concern herself with them. She carries on with dignity, while Allah deals with those who try to harm her. If they repent, they may find forgiveness. If they persist, their own actions will destroy them. Either way, she remains safe, because her refuge is with Allah. This principle is seen in the lives of the prophets and the righteous. Every time an enemy plotted, Allah turned their plan against them. The prophet Yusuf was thrown into a well by his brothers, yet he rose to become a minister in Egypt, while their jealousy left them in regret. The prophet Musa was threatened by Pharaoh, yet Pharaoh's cruelty became the cause of his own destruction. The prophet Muhammad faced endless plots in Mecca, yet every attempt only raised his status and exposed his enemies. These stories are timeless reminders that when Allah protects someone, no force on earth can bring them down. For a woman today, this means that no matter how much gossip, envy, or scamming she faces, she can find comfort in knowing that evil is self-destructive. It carries within it the seed of its own failure. She may not always see the results immediately, but she can trust that Allah's promise is true. And in the meantime, she continues her life with integrity, knowing that her dignity is safe in the care of the Almighty. So when you see a woman who rises higher every time others try to pull her down, who gains respect every time they try to humiliate her, who is honored while her enemies disgrace themselves, know that she is protected by Allah. The turning of evil against itself is not coincidence, it is a sign that the Almighty is watching over her. Those who dig pits for her only fall into them. Those who plot against her only expose themselves. And she, by the mercy of Allah, walks forward unharmed, her heart at peace, her dignity intact, and her faith stronger than ever. My beloved brothers and sisters, after reflecting on these 8 signs, we realize that the true protection of Allah is not always something loud or dramatic. It is often quiet, subtle, and deeply powerful. It is seen in the strength of faith, in the peace of the heart, in the clarity of the soul, in the guidance of intuition, in the dignity He bestows, in the doors of goodness He opens, in the patience He grants, and in the way evil is turned back upon itself. When a woman finds these qualities in her life, she should never think it is because of her own ability alone. It is a gift from Allah, a shield from the Most Merciful, and a sign that she is not walking alone. And for those who aspire to such protection, the path is clear. Build a sincere relationship with Allah, purify the heart, seek His guidance, and place full trust in Him. No matter how strong the forces of evil may appear, they are nothing compared to the power of Allah. And when He is on your side, no one can harm you. So walk with faith, walk with dignity, walk with patience, and leave the rest to Him. Because at the end of the day, true honor, true safety, and true success come only from Allah. May He make us all among those whom He protects, guides, and elevates, and may He shield us from every evil seen and unseen. Amen.